Hello, and welcome to Hidden Behind the Music Stand. I'm your host, Patty Ryan, and with me today is Jeong-Eun Lee, who is the Assistant Professor of Instruction in Collaborative Piano at the University of Texas, San Antonio, collaborative pianist and coach at Aspen Music Festival, and co-founder and pianist of Trio Xenia. And we'll be talking about cooking and enjoying cuisines. Welcome, Jeong-Eun. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Patty. Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course. So I feel like I slightly guilted two of my members in Trio Xenia in my resurrection episode, where I said both of them haven't been featured on my podcast yet. So thankfully, Jeong-Eun was brave enough to share the microphone with me today.
Which we listened to, by the way, together. So
yes.
we really enjoyed that episode.
Okay.
Just to find out that we're like, oh, whoops, we haven't been on the episode yet. So.
You've been summoned,
yes.
Yeah. So Jeong-Eun and I go way back into our San Francisco Conservatory days. Actually, a former iteration of Trio Xenia was actually Trio 507 with past guest Ravenna Lipchik. And we did a bunch of competitions together, including Fish-Off, Plowman, and at the time, Coleman competition, which no longer exists. But through that process of competing, we've really got to know each other. And I always have considered Jeong-Eun as one of my closest friends. So it's always a pleasure. Oh. Yes. The praises are coming. Yes. So it's always a pleasure to hang out, and we'll talk about eating food together, but also collaborating with music together as well. Okay.
It's great. No. I'm so grateful, really though, so grateful to be performing with you again. Because after graduating from San Francisco, you moved to Houston and I moved back to Rochester, New York. And we didn't really have much chance to perform together or even hang out. I mean, I think we met up a few times, but in LA. Right. But it was kind of hard to find time. It's great that now we get to, perform together, see each other more often. So.
Yeah. I have always found whenever I end up reuniting with you musically that it just feels so easy to play with you. And it's almost as if you can anticipate my needs before.
We talk about this all the time. Yeah, yes. No, but I think it's also because we went through so many classes and lessons together too. Yeah. Going through classes and taking chamber music. So I think it almost becomes natural for both of us to kind of speak the same language.
Exactly. And have kind of that similar background. Having that shared goal in mind that our mentors had for us back when we were students is, I think still with us.
And also bonding over ice cream and Thai food after.
Yes. Well, again, we'll get into that later.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. No, I'm not talking about food yet.
It's all good. No, it's hard not to talk about food. So, are you ready for some Spitfire questions?
Yes. I think.
Wow. Okay. I am just bringing these on. These are a new batch, which I should preface, I was losing some creativity when I was coming up with a new batch of Spitfires. So if anybody out there in the pod universe is listening and wants to add a Spitfire question to these rounds, by all means, email hiddenmusicstand@gmail.com or comment on Instagram @hiddenmusicstand, and I shall add it to the list. So, are you ready? Okay, you will do that.
Yes. So what's the instruction? Never mind. I'll just go for it.
You answer your first instinct of after hearing the question. Okay. Ready?
Okay. I think so. Yes. Go ahead.
Favorite piece to perform?
Dvorak Donkey Trio.
Really?
I don't know. That was the first thing I thought right now.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't know that. We just played that too together.
Yeah, we just played it, and I don't know. I think I had some difficulties here and there, but that was the first thing I can think of. Yes.
Okay, this is an inside joke, I suppose, with you, me, and Jacob in Trio Xenia. There's a moment in the last movement where you'd halftime. But we can't do anything about it because we're just waiting. We're just waiting for you.
I'm my worst enemy at that moment.
Well, I also just love, because then Jacob enters with the melody, and I just love how he just gives you the side eye and then continues on in place.
Like nothing happened. It's okay.
Yes. Number 2, favorite piece to hear live?
Oh my gosh. Schumann Piano Quintet.
Oh,
yes.
Interesting. What? Because of the pianist?
Well, it just
is that insulting
it's
to
a lot
the
of
string
fun.
quartet? Okay.
Well, I wanted to. Well, I don't know. Can I change my answer? It's too late, isn't it?
Well, you can provide alternate answers. That's okay.
Okay, alternate maybe. Okay, I was thinking maybe the Dvorak Piano Quintet. I love piano quintets. I've never played any, and maybe that's why, but it's just so much, it just seems like everyone's having so much fun.
That's true. They are fun to play.
Yeah, and fun to listen to, so yeah.
Yes.
I guess.
Well, one day you shall. I know. It's in your future.
Yes,
if I can make it happen. We just need to hire another violinist and a violist to join Trio Xenia, and then we can do it.
Yeah. But I think, Schumann Quintet.
Would that be your first choice of quintet? If you had a concert tomorrow, this is a spin-off
then it would be
question.
Dvorak.
Oh, you would play Dvorak. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I gotta start. I've never played that. I have to start. I'm assuming I'm in this ensemble, but
yes, I hope so. I don't know who the violist is yet, but
yeah. Well, that's easy to find. Yeah. First piece that got you interested in classical music or your instrument?
Oh, that Grieg piano concerto.
Really?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Oh, really? Such a pianist thing to say.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there were other, Vivaldi, Four Seasons will be on the top list too. Like, I listened to it many times. Gil Shaham's recording, by the way.
Oh, yes. Yes, I know the very one. Yes.
Yes.
The one I feel like all millennials grew up with. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I remember the day when my parents got it for me too. But the Grieg piano concerto, I can't remember when or where I watched this video of like this. I don't remember who the pianist was, but because I was younger. But it was just so dramatic. Mm-hmm. And it sounded like they were playing a lot of notes. When you're younger, you just hear a lot of arpeggios and like, I don't know, it seems like they're so like focused, concentrated in this like music that they're making. And with orchestra, it might have been my first like piano concerto to listen to too. And since then, I've never played it, but it's always been on my list. I can't wait to teach it one day too. Because I've heard so many different recordings and, went to different concerts. So so it's Grieg. I don't play that much Grieg, unfortunately, but, I should. I should. Well, we don't have too much repertoire, I think.
Well, we could play the Grieg Sonata.
Oh, cello. Yeah, I have not played that.
That's also in A minor, I think, if I'm not mistaken, too.
I can't remember. It's in a minor key. I played... There are 3 violin and piano sonatas, but I played 2 of them. And, some shorter pieces here and there, but never got to play the piano concerto. But that's...
One day.
That's what really got me into practicing more. Because I remember asking my teacher when I can, learn it. And she's like, okay, like maybe we'll look into it. And then I learned Schumann A minor piano concerto. So they're both A minors, and they're usually in the same album
category
too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. In the same recordings. Because I would like check out a CD from library or something. And it would be like, this pianist playing Grieg and Schumann. So I learned that, and I remember thinking like, when can I ever play the Grieg A minor, But yeah, that's my first piece that I got into the piano.
Okay, cool. Latest piece or composer you're obsessed with?
This might sound very cliche, but I got into listening to Rachmaninoff piano concertos again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was driving back from Houston. Rachmaninoff Concerto number 1 and Paganini variations. Yeah, especially Paganini variations. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was just driving and I was like, I haven't listened to any piano concertos recently. I'm talking a lot about piano concertos today, but
that's okay. You're a pianist.
Yeah. But I just started listening to them and I couldn't stop listening. Just kind of reminded me of how much I like to listen to and like play the orchestra reductions of those pieces.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this question, and this is a question I've asked, I think, on every season of Hiding Behind the Music Stand, but alternative musical instrument?
Well, Patty might think cello.
Uh-oh.
But recently...
Oh, no! What happened?
Recently...
No, you're going to the dark side. Is it violin? No!
Yeah, actually...
Oh, no.
I know. It's been cello for the longest time. But this summer, I saw my friend's son practicing or like performing violin. And I thought, I wish I can play the violin. Cause I quit violin when I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7. I didn't like it at all. But then, seeing him play, or like, I can't remember what I watched, but I think it was like something like a 3-minute piece that he performed. And I was like, I wish I could do that. I wish I can play like him. He played it so well. And just working with a lot of violin students over the summer, I started thinking about just repertoire and like what they're going through, a different kind of approach to technique. I mean, it's clearly different from piano. And I just thought, why don't I go back, maybe take lessons again?
Well, I have seen you in action as a student with our violinist of Trio Xenia, Jacob Schaefer. I have actually footage, so...
And maybe you know why I quit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
the grumpy
hard.
cat face was very present.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was intriguing, interesting. Yeah, I just never really found myself comfortable at the violin.
Well,
but
yeah.
I had like this viola phase many years ago, and a friend taught me how to play for like 30 minutes, and I think I gave up, or we both gave up.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe not a string instrument for me, but yeah, I am going through some kind of a violin phase right now.
Okay, I'll accept it.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, I don't know if I can be accepted to Jacob's studio, but but I'll try again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sure. Okay. Well, you finished the Spitfire questions. Congratulations.
Oh, okay, there aren't more.
Oh, do you want more? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the part where I ask you about your musical origin story. How did you get introduced to classical music? How did you get introduced to your instrument? And walk me through the steps of where you are today in your professional life.
I think I had a small toy piano at home when I was growing up. I don't know, I was very young, and I remember just like playing through some like folk tunes with my grandmother, and like she would teach me a few things. And that's like a small like image I have. Then I think I got to maybe preschool or kindergarten. I don't know. Everyone started taking piano lessons at that age. A lot of people take piano lessons, especially, I don't know, at that time in South Korea. So I started taking lessons, I think, in like my preschool class. And then I remember taking like private lessons when I was like in first or second grade. And I did everything that I guess like all the kids did at the time. Just like went to class and did some competitions, and it was fun. I liked sight reading then too. So I just liked going through, flipping through the pages and see what sounded cool to me. I remember like somebody was reading Beethoven Fifth Symphony on the piano, and I was like, what's that? So I remember like asking my dad if we could go to the bookstore, and like we went to the music section and like tried to look for that. I was like, oh, it was like something Beethoven. Like I didn't even know, because I think I was like 6 or 7, and I think he probably helped me with like the selections. And yeah, and then I quit piano for a little bit because I was kind of tired of being under pressure, I think at the time, maybe. Because, I did some competitions and it was fun, but I think I put too much pressure on myself at the time. I remember telling my mom if I could stop lessons for a little bit, or like, I don't want to play piano for a little bit or something. And she's like, oh yeah, sure. If you don't want to, then it's okay. Let me know if you want to take lessons again, or if you want to play again, that kind of thing. So I stopped, and then I came to the States, and then I saw a piano, and I was like, oh, this looks fun. so then I started, I think I asked my music teacher if I could like practice piano at lunch. Or like recess or something. And she's like, yeah, sure. So, and I took lessons, and then I was like, this is really fun. And then I think that's the point when I listened to Greek piano concerto. I was more interested in like music in general, than before. And then we had to select an instrument for band. So it was a good timing, because I started, listening to a lot of music, and I was like, oh my gosh, we get to be in band. And my piano teachers, she recommended clarinet, because I asked her, I was like, what do you think I can play? Like, what do you think I'll like, kind of thing? Because she's like, well, you can do anything. Like, what do you want? And she was like, I don't know. Can you give me any recommendations? Because I think I told her, I was like, I want to play drums. I want to play something, like snare drum or something. And she's like, okay, maybe we can start with something like this. And I think she, showed me like a encyclopedia or something. And she's like, how about this? Clarinet sounds, maybe like try it. So I started playing clarinet, and I liked it. And then I started playing saxophone because they needed somebody in jazz band. And I did not want to play jazz on the piano. Right. Because I just didn't know what was going on. And it just seemed so like new to me. I just didn't know what was going on. Because I'm like so used to the classical style at the time, Yeah, so I played saxophone and clarinet, marching band, and, I did it in marching band, jazz band. And it was fun because, all my friends are in band, and we had so much time together in class and outside of class. So that was my band phase, let's say. And then I got to high school and thought maybe marching band was too much to continue along with piano, because that's when I was starting to learn, longer pieces. I was doing more practicing at the piano and keeping up with all the classes. So I left band and then I just practiced more piano, and attending summer festivals really helped me be more interested in repertoire that I wasn't familiar with at the time.
Were they piano camps or were they chamber music based?
I did some chamber music festivals when I was younger, because they were shorter. I think maybe a week, nearby. And then my teacher in middle school, she went to Indiana University, and then she's like, oh, by the way, I saw this brochure for young pianists. And we were we're not sure, how this application process is going to be, but she's like, why don't you try? Because it's a good program. So I went to that piano academy after my 8th grade, and I had so much fun. And I made friends, and I still talk to some of them too. And that's when I heard my first Rachmaninoff second concerto, and went to my first Mozart trio concert too.
Oh,
and
you saw them live.
I saw them live, playing Beethoven Triple.
Oh,
so that's where I started having all these dreams and hopes of performing that one day. Yeah, and then attended Mr. Prisser's masterclass, things like that. So it was just an eye-opening experience for me to meet friends who are as interested and passionate about piano, because I went to public high school with everyone, and we didn't really talk about piano or classical music in high school, taking calculus and algebra and whatnot. So it was good to meet friends who shared common interests and passion over the summer, and then I was more comfortable talking about what I was interested in, because I felt like I had to be a different person in school, but I think meeting more friends in this piano world made me feel oh yeah, I can do this kind of thing.
Unveil you can be more authentically you.
Yeah, and that's, I think after attending that, I went to a choir room and asked the choir director in my high school if I can play piano for the choir, because I was I want to do more music in choir, and that's how the whole choir adventure began, and then I stayed with choir for the rest of my high school years. So that was high school, and then I got to Eastman and had more fun, and my friend's roommate was a violinist, and she needed a pianist, so I was I like playing with people, I think, and then, started playing with violin friends, and then I was maybe I should consider doing collaborative piano for master's degree, but I thought, I could also go to a program where I can take lessons in solo piano and then do more chamber. So I think San Francisco Conservatory was a great choice.
Yay!
Yeah. So, and then I went to Kneisel right before coming to San Francisco, and that's where I met Ravenna. And then Ravenna, who went to San Francisco Conservatory at the time, she was a senior when I entered my master's program, and that's when we created or founded Trio 507 with Patty.
Yay.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot of chamber. Yeah, learned a lot. That was a lot of fun, I think.
I think it's pretty foundational for me in how to collaborate with piano, actually. Because, you get a lot of opportunities to play with a collaborative pianist, but then it's usually kind of a one rehearsal, then run on stage and perform. But that year for me was, because I think sometimes string players don't think about the differences, or they take for granted that the piano is going to be there, versus actually playing with that sound is a very different kind of listening. And so I hope I don't overdo it, but I try as much as I can to match the piano as much as possible when I collaborate with piano. Unless it's something like a concerto where it's, it's supposed to be with orchestra, or if it's a sonata where it's supposed to be something very different, but something like in a piano trio, the cello role is very integrated for the most part with the left-hand piano.
And I think the days that we spent, the hours we spent at SFCM really helped us become who we are as musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was only 2 years for me, but I treasure those times when I was at SFCM. It was intense at the time and stressful, but I don't think I ever practiced that much, to be honest, and worked that much. And I think it all just kind of helped me at the end. I mean, at the time, I just didn't know where it was what am I doing, basically?
Yeah.
It's just so much work, so many things going on, but I'm really thankful that I went to San Francisco. And, I don't know if you remember this, Patty, but there was a point where I played with a lot of cellists in your studio.
Yes.
And I think that's when I really got to know more cello repertoire. And I'm
I certainly
so glad,
asked you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm grateful that Jean-Michel, he was so open to the idea of having me in the studio, just have me sometimes sight read or coach.
I know there's too many
can't
inside
thank him
jokes that we're trying not to share. But
yeah. So I learned a lot through like just being in these lessons, playing in studio classes. And that's what led me to apply to Eastman and applied to the major for collaborative piano. And just continue from there. And I really got to know more about collaborative piano, the field, and, just like doing more vocal arts repertoire along with string and brass and woodwinds and all these instruments, and got to coach students along the way. So that really inspired me to do more coaching, more teaching. I think that's why I wanted to apply to positions that have both, where I can perform, work with students to prepare for their recitals and have opportunities to coach chamber groups and other pianists who are interested and enrolled in collaborative piano classes. And that's where I'm at right now. I play for choirs and I also play organ on Sundays at a church. And I teach privately too, because my other passion is to teach students solo piano repertoire. And being interested in both chamber and solo repertoire is fun being a teacher, because I get to talk so much about sight reading and like four hands piano music and duet music that sometimes, we don't have time to talk about, but I make sure that they have some experience doing that. Mm-hmm. And they love it. Students have a lot of fun playing four hands. Just kind of get to know, learn how to cue, because as pianists, we really don't cue. We don't really have much chances to cue, actually.
Right.
Yeah. Unless we play like two pianos, which we usually don't growing up, or concertos. So
that is something that I think piano in general is generally a individual activity. Mm-hmm. And so that makes sense. I remember when I was a young kid playing piano that I really enjoyed playing the four-hand piano stuff, because it was like the first time I was able to be with someone else rather than myself
I mean, I even remember recording myself, like playing a part and then playing it back and then playing like, with the recording. And I thought that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was before college, because I'm like, or like I would like ask my friends if they were interested. And so they would we would do our own project. But like as pianists, before I guess going to music schools and such, you just practice by ourselves, at the piano. We don't have, youth orchestras or the or band, So maybe that's why I liked being in band so much, because it was such a different experience.
And it got you to hear, I think the other thing too is for pianists, because so much of the repertoire is only on that instrument and it is such an orchestral instrument, it also is, if one doesn't get outside of the instrument, let me phrase it this way. In hearing your story, that choosing clarinet and playing in band and playing in jazz got you to hear other sounds and textures and qualities of different instruments that then, you wanted to fuse your piano playing with those sounds.
And I agree. And I think maybe that's what got me into like playing concertos, like orchestra reductions, because I feel like I can be the orchestra, as much as I love playing the piano and like the repertoire that's written for piano. I just like playing concertos. There's just so many things that we can do with the sound that is required from playing these repertoire.
Yeah. Well, can we quickly touch upon the origins of Triozenia? Do you want to explain how this all came about? Because this was all your fault? Just kidding.
Well, yes, it was my fault. Well, where can I start? Long ago, I don't know. Well, not too long ago, Jacob was supposed to pick you up from the airport. Right?
We're going that far back. Okay.
Oh, no, we're not going. Okay, we don't have to go that far. Okay, I'll just cut a few things.
Okay, I mean, if you want to go that far back.
Oh no. So I moved to Texas from Indiana, from Bloomington, Indiana, for my current position at UTSA. And I thought it would be a great idea to play with Patty and Jacob in a trio recital. Or I guess at the time it was a recital where we can play together. Mm-hmm. So I thought maybe I play a sonata with Jacob and a sonata or something with Patty, like a short piece or collections of pieces. Mm-hmm. And then we do a trio together, since Patty and I played in a trio. And Jacob and Patty, you guys played in string quartets, right? And piano trio? Yeah.
Yes. The Dubois live in peace. Yeah.
And I loved my experience of collaborating with Patty. And I think Patty and Jacob both had high respect for each other as musicians. And they really spoke highly of each other. So I thought, I think Jacob and I played well together too.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, well,
you like match made us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like we have to play. I mean, it seems like we get along musically. And I mean, as friends too. So what can go wrong? And I think to this day, nothing went wrong, I think. No, and I think we had like a run through of the Mendelssohn D minor, and it felt great to just play together, and we listened well. I think we kind of responded to each other's musical ideas. And the rehearsal process was really fun. It was productive. It was funny, but it was serious at times, yes. But most times. And it was productive, like
I think
musically
it's a good
very
ratio.
productive.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I was going to say,
no.
I think it's a good ratio of having fun, but also getting work done. And
yeah,
I don't know if that's always the case for rehearsals in other professional groups. Sometimes it's almost too much work and not enough fun, or the vice versa, too much fun and no work done. So
or like timeline wise, nobody has we don't have time or something. So it's just like
it's
high stress, and we just have to like get the performance ready. And so I think that's when we decided to form a trio. And it took us a while to come up with the name, since there are so many names out there.
Oh my God.
I love the name that we have, Trio Xenia. And we're trying to perform as much as possible.
Yeah, we're available to perform anywhere. I think we have an engagement in March in the Twin Cities. So of course I'll let you guys know when things get closer. It's through the Rondo Community Music Series at Walker West. So we're very excited to be able to perform at that music series. Mm-hmm. And there's other little projects here and there that we've been working towards. So it's kind of fun in a way for at least me to feel like there's a grassroots beginning to our group. Yeah.
We have 2 performances in San Antonio in October, including one at UTSA on October 15th, Tuesday. And I'm really excited to present this program of Brahms and Clara Schumann.
Oh, this is good to know. Okay.
Yes. And it will be great to perform for students at UTSA and talk about piano trio a little bit, maybe history of piano trio repertoire. And great to have Patty and Jacob in San Antonio. It's always great to have both of my friends in San Antonio and kind of explore together, the city, the new city. We still have to go to Six Flags, even though I'm very scared of a lot of the rides there.
That's okay.
And I still have to try, I think, fried Oreos.
Yeah.
And is it some kind of cake?
We can say this for the second segment of your episode.
Oh, yes. Yes. Anyway.
So you can learn more about Trio Xenia at our website, trioxenia.com, as well as following us on Instagram at Trio Xenia. We also uploaded a new-ish video. We recorded it about 9 months ago now. Jennifer Higdon's piano trio, Pale Yellow and Fiery Red, as well as Mozart's piano trio 564 in G major as well. Actually, this was recorded by past guest Eric Romani on the podcast. It's all in the family here. Follow us and check out our videos on YouTube. Are you ready to take a break?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. So, I know that when I first met Jeong-Eun, we were in one of the best food capitals in the country, in San Francisco. And I don't know if it's just out of the necessity from school and the stress of not being able to go home and cook, but I know that we've enjoyed eating a lot together over the course of our friendship. And I know that we've traveled a lot together, either for the competitions or now with Trio Xenia, we're doing a lot of traveling in the Twin Cities and in Texas. And I know that we always try to go for the best places. I mean, I'm a foodie. How did you become a foodie?
Oh, well, my family loves to cook and to eat and, to try different cuisine, different recipes together. And I think that's where I kind of started being more interested. And moving to San Antonio. Well, moving to San Antonio, definitely. But moving to San Francisco led me to try all these different places and having friends who, want to try different restaurants too. And we had so many places to try and go. And actually, I don't know we had like really good Thai food, Thai restaurant nearby school, and like a lot of coffee places that we could go to right after our rehearsals. Yeah, I don't know, just being surrounded by all these different places that I could try to, like, nearby. That's what kind of got me into, I guess, trying different places. Maybe that doesn't make any sense.
No.
But
well, no, that's the
Yeah.
that's the uniqueness about that city, is that there's really a lot of variety of cuisines there. Other than the Thai, I forget the name of the restaurant. Do you remember?
I used to,
Les Roses?
something, or Les Roses.
Les Roses?
I can't remember. I don't know if they're still there.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, so much changes in that neighborhood.
Yeah, and a lot of Chinese food. Like, a lot of different Chinese food.
Yeah, like, R.I.P. to Mandarin Villa, by the way.
Where, I don't know where that is,
No,
actually.
Mandarin Villa was like, I thought that's the name of the restaurant. That was the one that was right on the corner, right before.
Oh,
remember?
isn't it Dragon something?
Oh.
I
thought it was Mandarin
I think
Villa.
I only went there once.
No, that's not true, really? Because we went there as a trio right before we performed at the chamber music concert, and that's when we found out who won the presidential election.
I think that was the only time.
That was the only time?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
At least, like, that was my only time, like, at the restaurant. Because it would be usually somebody else, like, trying, they're, like, ordering, and I'm like, oh, can I get something else?
I see.
Yeah, I don't think I ate there that many times. Oh, but yeah, I don't know if they're still there. Last time I visited, they had, like, really good Mediterranean restaurant near La Boulange.
Yes.
So that was good. Oh, I love brunch. Yeah, and La Boulange. Went there too many times. Yeah, and I think that's when, like, brunch was very, like the trendy thing to do. So I remember lining up. I asked my roommate to line up to go to this brunch place at, like, 6 a.m. So she got up with me, I asked her, I was like, hey, do you want to go? I think I'm going to go with this other friend too. So the three of us went at like 6 something, got there at 6:30, and we were like, I don't know, we waited 2 hours or something. It was just long line. We weren't even the first 10 people either, but it was good. So that was the thing. And then like my studio classes ended really late on Fridays, and a bunch of us still went to get ice cream at like 10:30 p.m. By right, actually.
Oh, by right. Oh, wow. You took
by right. Yeah. We took the Muni and we went to By Right.
What is that?
J?
The J line. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I think so. The J, because I usually don't take the J, but we took the J and like we went after playing in studio classes. And it was like, I don't know, 40-degree weather. Yeah. But we still went and ate ate 2 scoops of ice cream because we deserved it.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, those were the times, and went to sushi restaurants, whenever we could, after I get my paycheck, after, teaching very hard, for a month. And we did a lot of gigs too. And I think they had a great catering food. Yep. So that's when I got to try different finger food I didn't know about actually at the time in different parts of San Francisco too. So I think that was like, one of my memories, just like going to different places of San Antonio. This is why I live in too many. All I have to do is live in San Diego. I get all the, but,
or San Bernardino or
San Fernando, I guess so. At San Angelo, there. Yes. But yeah, those are the memories.
What has been the most adventurous thing that you've eaten or tried?
I thought I was allergic to oysters.
Oh no. This is a recent story.
It's a very, very. I actually found out I was allergic. Well, I thought I was allergic to oysters in San Francisco. And, it limited many options for me. And then I moved to San Antonio and I took the allergy test because I was sneezing all the time. So I had to figure out, what I was allergic to. And I, took various, tests, and according to the test, I was not allergic to oysters, so I was very excited to try oysters. And for my birthday this past summer, I had oysters, and I'm saying that, I mean, it's not the most adventurous like cuisine or like food in general, but for me, it was like the most exciting time of the year.
Yes.
Basically, because I'm like, okay, this is the day, I like should try something that, because I like eating oysters. I love seafood. Yeah. And then I was basically in bed for the next 2-3 days. Yeah. But it was very exciting at the time though. So exciting and most adventurous. So even though it's not the answer that you might expect to hear, for me, that was the most adventurous.
And never again.
I guess, and never again.
That's so sad.
Possibly, It just, I don't know. I just didn't feel great. Yeah. I don't know. I still don't know why. Yeah. Maybe I'm not allergic. I don't know. People kept telling me that maybe, I was just tired that day. Maybe it's just not good.
I think it was more than that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's more than that. But, I love trying different cuisines and different recipes. But oysters,
yeah.
Kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And a good oyster is a really good oyster. I mean, that sounds so dumb, but it's like nothing beats the flavor of an oyster with the sea salt water. And then like you put some tomato, tartar, whatever, lemon on it. Oh, it's just so refreshing. I just have very fond memories of oysters in Charleston. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the ones that I had, for my birthday, it was good.
Yeah.
They were very good. And at the time, I thought, it was like the best birthday,
Yeah.
dinner in a while kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. What's a cuisine or even a dish that you can't cook for yourself and will go out and order it?
Oh, seafood in general. I would prefer to order it or like eat it at the restaurant. Yeah, I just don't know if I found ways to make it in a way that I would enjoy, like, like cooking and eating. Even seafood pasta, I think I just have better experience at a restaurant than when I cook it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a dish that you wish that you could cook that you don't know how to cook yet?
Oh, yes. Anything pork chop. I don't know. I don't really cook pork at home. Or there's just so many. I think actually curry. Indian curry I haven't made at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still in the process of figuring that out for like the true authentic taste that I can get at a restaurant.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But I think I'm getting closer and a little bit closer and closer each time. But yeah, it's like whole spices really make a difference. But then I think I sometimes burn those spices because I'm chopping onions or something. I forget to. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a timing. It's always like a delicate balance.
I love to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
Indian curry.
We have eaten a lot of Indian food together too. That is, especially in the Twin Cities for some reason.
We have. Yeah, yes. Yeah, but curry I'd like to make and falafel.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've made.
Yeah. Yeah. We should try that together.
Yeah, we should actually. Yes.
Because we also like cooking together in addition to playing music together.
Yes. And there's just so many things. I mean, it's kind of a side topic, but I like to make mimosas at home. For some reason, I don't think I've ever made mimosas at home. Yes.
Well, we can also fix that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know it's not really baking is like whole another thing. But I made tiramisu relatively recently, and I really like that. And I'm trying to not make tiramisu at home because I realize I just eat them.
Well,
I just eat it endlessly, like just nonstop. So so baking. I'm
you
trying
just have to have you have to have an audience, a studio recital to then bake for.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to cook quite a bit for like studio potluck, but I haven't made anything for like my own like private studio recitals. I don't know. I think since COVID or like since graduating, I haven't really cooked for like a lot of people. I kind of stopped. I mean, since we don't really have big gatherings anymore too.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that kind of led me to just kind of like not like be so, I don't know, confident with my cooking or something. So,
well, I think you're a great cook.
Oh, thank you. Well, hold on. What recipes should I try when you're here next time?
I know, right? Yeah, get started, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta start practicing.
But
yeah. No, I like cooking, and I think that's like one of the things I do when I'm stressed out too. So
yeah. So
yeah, I tend to cook more.
So now let's talk about the connection of your passion for cooking and trying new foods to your musicianship. How does that inform you and your artistry?
Learning how to improv. Yeah. It's like following recipes, right? Like we have all these notes, all these instruction, like steps to follow and whatnot. But through cooking, I mean, I guess vice versa too, because we're so used to kind of like doing things on the spot when needed on stage and whatnot. Like I'm kind of allowing myself to do that in the kitchen too.
Yeah.
And just like trying new things in general with food and like repertoire, really. Yeah, I think so. And then just like enjoy the process and like just how we like eating after cooking.
Like the reward of it. Yeah,
I think so.
Sometimes when we play music, of course there's the reward of getting through it and like the that's over. But with with the cooking, you can actually enjoy it as the chef. It's yourself.
Oh, actually, I can relate that. Yeah, like COVID, like I haven't really cooked for a lot of people. So like I'm not as confident. It's like maybe performance too. Because after COVID, it's been a while. It took me a while to kind of get back to performance mode. Because then I'm like, I'm not used to performing for live audience. That kind of thing. So I can see the relationship, like the familiarity or similarity.
And I'll speak for myself. I find that when I cook, I end up using a lot of culinary metaphors in my teaching.
Oh, right.
like a lot, and I can't help it. But it's like I get so inspired by different flavors and how things interact with one another too, that I'll give an example, because of course they just kind of hit me in the moment too. Since we now have a new segment called Cecil's Corner, which you can also follow on the podcast here. In one of the coachings I was helping Cecil with was a held pedal point, so meaning he's just holding one note in the harp quartet. And I was talking to him about how I was like, what's your favorite fish? And he said, I don't even, maybe he just said tilapia just out of, or I don't know how he came to tilapia, but I started saying like, okay, so you know, when you cook tilapia, that there's a process of watching it become really juicy and crispy. And so that when you're holding this B flat, it's not like you have the raw fish that has no heat on. You're constantly making it sizzle, and you're making it grow and mature and get to that like savory flavor that you want, right? So that's transforming, in other words. But yeah, I like, in the moment I was like, oh, that was a good one. I should remember.
Wow, I need to do that. I need to borrow that. Because for me, it's more like just using, like, you know, I use a lot of food words, I guess, sure. You know, when I teach rhythm. Yeah. Especially for my beginner students. Oh, like. So it's always like apple, donut, pumpkin, pineapple, you name it. And at one point, a student was like, how come they're all like fruit names? Or like, you know, how come it's all like dishes, like I'm like pasta or what, I don't know. Pepperoni is my favorite one, pizza. And they're like, how come it's like that? Or like I was, you know, going over acronyms and they're, you know, fat cats go down alley eating broccoli.
Yeah. Oh, mine's bologna.
Or brownie.
Okay.
Well, yeah, something I think I learned bologna, but I was like, no, let's make it a little
healthier.
Bit, I don't know, veggies, healthier,
Vegan friendly, yes.
I was like, how about broccoli? And they're like, what, broccoli? I'm like, you know, and then we can talk about that. But yeah, I tend to do that a little bit. But I should use your story.
Well,
your analogy.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I like to borrow that.
Absolutely. It is now public domain, I suppose. But I love like that. Whenever I'm teaching, those little things like pop into my head, and at least for me, it's useful because I feel like it's something that if people enjoy cooking, it's relatable. And it's something that we need to think about as we are cooking, metaphorically, our music in performance, right?
Yeah. Or I like putting words to certain phrases or melodies, and you know, like I want tacos on Tuesdays, or I like tacos. That comes up all the time.
As
so
like
we talk about that
as a metaphor. And
just like putting words to melodies so that it flows better. I see. Or like we can put I like tacos. You know,
I see.
So we can put emphasis on certain things.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But food comes back all the time. Hoping that it's helpful, and I found it pretty helpful in my teaching. Yeah, and it's usually dinner time anyway, right? So maybe that's why.
Yeah, extra hungry. Yeah. What would you say is a Jeong-Eun Lee signature dish?
I'm not sure. Let's see. I like making kimchi stew, kimchi jjigae, and that's my favorite. If I had to go to an island all by myself with one dish, it would be that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that's why I eat it a lot. I make it a lot. And yeah, I think that'll be my signature, but I don't know. I have to go through my collection.
Yes. Well, if that's the first thing that came to, that's like a Spitfire question right there too, so.
I don't know how to fry eggs. Sorry.
What? Okay.
I don't really know how to fry.
I shall come down and teach you. But part of it is that you need to have a good pan.
I like to blame it on my pan, but
no, you have good pans. You have good equipment. So no excuses.
Yeah, so that's why everything's scrambled, you know, and maybe that's why I like eating scrambles, so I can hide the fact. So if you haven't noticed, everything I make egg related, it's scrambled.
Well, I like scrambled eggs. There's nothing.
So now you know. Yeah, maybe that's why nobody knows.
Yes, right now it's
you like scrambled, right? As I make my fried eggs.
So, Jeong-Eun, where can people find you, get in touch with you, follow up on your musical pursuits?
Yes. My website is pianistjeongeunlee.com.
Is there a dash?
No, it's just one word. Pianist Jeong-Eun Lee.
Very good.
Because I do have hyphen on my name.
Yes.
Jeong-Eun. But on my website, it's just Pianist Jeong-Eun Lee. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I believe that's my Instagram as well. And I have YouTube channel. And there you will find Triozenia materials as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It is, as we said earlier, it is always a pleasure to hang out, chat, perform music, eat food, all of the above together.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
Yes. Until next time. Sushi, say bye. This episode of Hidden Behind the Music Stand has been edited, engineered, and produced by Patty Ryan. Original music by Patty Ryan. If you enjoyed this podcast or thought that this would benefit someone in your life, please share this episode with your friends and family. Like and subscribe to us wherever you enjoy your podcasts, and follow us on social media at Hidden Music Stand. Email your thoughts and suggestions to our podcast email, hiddenmusicstand@gmail.com. Support the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/hiddenmusicstand.